Now we request Mr. Raghu Nair to begin with the session.
Dignitaries present here, invited guests, my colleagues in the teaching fraternity, and friends. I am not sure whether I am the person with the right credentials to be talking on this topic, the institute-industry interaction, primarily because of one thing. And that thing is, if you discount my portfolio that I am handling at the moment, I am a teacher like you all. I started my career as a teacher, teaching full-time in an engineering college, shifted to the industry, where I continue to teach as and when required, and during my spare time. The reason why I am specifying this is, I am fully aware of the difficulties, the roadblocks, the stumbling blocks that my colleagues in the training and placement in colleges face as of today. But then, when I was asked to talk on this topic, I could have easily run a Google search and come up with 15, 20 points. I did not choose to do that because that is what most of the engineering college students do these days. I said 25 to 30 years in the industry, let me run a flashback and see what has changed and what has not changed. So what I will leave with you all is some thoughts. I am not going to advise, I am not going to give any suggestions. I am only going to tell you all what we in our organization has done over the last 20, 25 years. And if those points you all can take on in some way, somewhere, sometime, we will be happy to assist. It will only benefit the students as well as the college. Some 20 years back, and it exists even today, we as a company, one of our wings is steam engineering. And we found that whatever we do in steam engineering, no engineering college syllabus teaches it. Surprisingly, they don't teach even today. So we decided that, as some of it will be an overlap from what Mr. Hota said, we decided that we will train students for 6 months in this subject. So we announced a certificate course in steam engineering, which enters its 20th year today. The course starts, the 20th batch starts in the second week of September, where we train students on steam engineering. It's a sort of effort so that we get trained students to perform. Otherwise, you take a student, he says he's a trainee for 1 year, then he's on probation for 6 months. So effectively, when he starts performing, it's about 18 months. Here, in 6 months, you get a trained person to perform for you. A selfish motive, but a very successful effort. Because most of our highly performing sales people in the field today are students who have gone through that course, not only in our company, in many other companies today. And we have only seen that grow. This year's batch, from last year 28, this year's batch has got 40 students. Something that I cannot handle, but we are handling it at the moment because we know what the industrial scenario is. Surprisingly, and very surprisingly, we got an invitation from Gujarat government last year or 2 years back to train the Polytechnic and the engineering college faculty on the same subject. Now, this did not happen here. It came from the state of Gujarat. So we did it. We did it in Gujarat. We did it twice in Gujarat, or thrice, 3 or 4 times. I don't recall exactly. After we did it in Gujarat, the idea struck us, why don't we do it here? And then we did similar courses for the teachers in the state of Maharashtra through the Maharashtra State Board of Technical Examination, where it was a 5-day course. And most of the faculty members who came for it said that they have not even heard of such things that we were teaching them. It was essentially discovered 100 years back by James Watt, still continues, and people still ask what. So, yeah, people still ask what, and we have to tell them what it is. And STEAM continues to surprise us too, let me tell you that, even after 60 years. So we went into that. And then it so happened, as the story proceeds, one of the engineering colleges got interested in it, and they introduced an elective of that subject a couple of years back. So for the last 2 years, that engineering college in Pune has been running that elective in STEAM engineering. And we talk of energy conservation, we talk of dwindling fuel, we talk of biomass as a fuel, we talk of solar as a fuel, but we don't know basic process heating where all of this is used. So this is what, as we went along, we saw, and we tried to bridge the gap by doing this. As I said at the outset, if you all can pick up threads from it and develop on it, it is for you. The other areas where we contributed or we continue to contribute is, surprisingly again, the ITIs approached us for doing a finishing school for the ITI students. And what is a finishing school? A finishing school is where we give them inputs on communication skill, interview techniques, presentation skill. And this was for the ITIs, not for the engineering college students, mind you. So we have been doing that for about a couple of years. Similarly, we have tied up with an Indian Institute of Technology where we and the Indian Institute of Technology work together to develop new products for our company. At the same time, where does we take from the institute? Most of our people, senior management, middle management, attend programs at the IIMs where they interact with the IIM faculty, where they interact with the others, where they network with the people, gather information, gather knowledge, and come back and implement it. So no, it is not that the industry is not drawing from the institute, the industry is also drawing from the institute. So these are some of the areas that we contribute differently. And what has not changed? 20 years back, an institute-industry interaction was limited to industrial visits and projects. Unfortunately, in many institutes, that has still not changed. I am not blaming anybody. It is still industrial visits, it is still projects. And industrial visits when? Next day or within a week. Why? Why next day or why within a week? Because we have to complete the semester. Then what happened throughout the entire semester? Why could you all not approach the company in the middle? No answer. So that has not changed. We still get visits, but as an organization, whenever we get requests for industrial visit, I am proud to say that not a single industrial visit we have refused. We have encouraged students to visit us. We have told them you can come, you can blow up a place if you want, but we will allow you to blow it up once so that you learn what you want to learn. So these two things have not changed. Now, if we look at this scenario, what is it that we should actually do to change this scenario a little? And I have 3 suggestions. I don't know, you can take the 3 suggestions. The institutes can look at the 3 suggestions. My first suggestion is, how many institutes really have a KRA for a teacher in place? How many institutes really have a training plan for a teacher in place? Every teacher who joins aspires to do an MTech or a PhD. Fine, what different? Any industrial training? Any industrial exposure? Any relationship with the industry? It's the responsibility of the institute to actually build this into the result of a faculty member. The second most important thing is, to my friends in the training and placement arena, don't take training and placement to be like marketing, because we are target driven. आज हमने कितने को ट्रेनिंग में प्लेस किया कितना इंडस्ट्रियल विजिट किया, कितना प्रोजेक्ट सक्सेसफुली दिया. Don't leave it to the students. Don't make it a marketing driven scenario. See your product. If your product is good, you wouldn't need to do all this. The product actually will sell for yourself in the market. So don't look at training and placement as a marketing scenario. And the third thing that Mr. Hota said is something that I would also reiterate here. That is the attitude of the students. It's in your hands. The students come to the industry with a very know-all attitude. We have seen this, and this know-all attitude cannot take a student too far. We have to break that attitude somewhere in the college itself. There are many things that you all have to learn, and you have to continue to learn as you go along. And the fourth thing that something that is a little breakthrough, but which I think I could recommend is, how many of you would like to be mentored by somebody in an industry? There's nothing wrong, you know. If you find somebody in the industry who's a expert in your area, you could use him as a coach. You should use him as a mentor. Go to him, spend time with him, learn from him, and then impart it to the students. So this is what I had to say. These are some of the things we are doing. These are some of the threads you can take. If I said skills for the ITIs, you can take a thread from there and try to incorporate it in your curriculum and take it forward. If I said industrial visits, why on the last day? You could have industrial visits in advance. Unfortunately, industrial visits are so monotonous today. They come in, they walk around the factory, take a photograph as evidence of having attended the industry visit, not as an evidence of having learnt anything, sorry. An evidence, and that too with the board of the company. If you tell them don't take it there, they will stand there and take it, because that is proof that we have entered the Forbes Marshall company. So change that. I know things are difficult, as I told you at the outset, but things has to be changed. In the dull scenario, the dim scenario that Mr. Hota presented, I know he also is a very optimistic man as things stand. So things are bound to change. Things will definitely change, but then we should be prepared for it. The time comes. So I thank both and the Pimpri-Chinchwad College of Engineering and the University of Pune for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with you. I thank my colleague Praveen Bhosle for having forced me to come here, because basically I am a shy man that way. I prefer to keep to myself. And to my training and placement colleagues, I hope to see you all often, more than in such forums. God bless you all. Have a great life. Thank you.